a good opportunity to celebrate World Interfaith Harmony Week. The Guruji already organized like whole week, like the different program I saw, like the Facebook and social media from Europe to Asia, from America to like the other country. There's a lot of program and a lot of people join. You know, in Arabic, this like the mashallah is very good. The program we saw every day. The idea, like last 2 days, especially like the coins in New York, like too much snowstorm, and that time most of the and the and the and the prayer house also closed. That time I saw the lot of people and a lot of religious leader. They are doing the prayer on the using like the social media, and especially this year, like the different situation because the COVID, like the last previous years, we went to the different place, especially in the UN, and the UN offered for celebration like the different program, the prayer, like discussion, the paper presentation, seminar, and a lot of interfaith leaders as well join this event. But this year, the whatever you starting and you did and you are doing is very great opportunity for us. The first, I want to say this is our good opportunity and whatever we are thinking for the whole year because this is the second month of the calendar and the whole year we have a lot of program and especially like in our interfaith community we have a very good bond and very good understanding to doing like the different type of program and the last year the birthday celebration we are committed to do something like this year some publication and a few special program especially every year we're doing the art festival and we're doing the interfaith celebration. We can announce this week, the World Interfaith Harmony Week, the whole year program plan, and how can we engage our youth and our kids, with the interfaith activities. This is, I think, very good opportunity for us, and especially like the pandemic, the COVID-19. How long it will be continue, we don't know because already we saw the news, we heard the announcement from the CDC. It will be continue minimum until September or something like that. Then we need to prepare more effective program in online or like the visual presentation. We need to involve our like the diverse community. We need to involve our youth group or our different group, and they will be understand like why we need to practice, the religion and what is our value, what is our culture, and it will be a great idea to my suggestion or I'm thinking Guruji, on behalf of your organization, your collaboration, you're going to be announced the whole year program, especially how we're going to be involved our youth generation and how we, you know, the more connect, more engagement, more connectivity, then it would be great. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, other interfaith leaders, especially I saw like the people Singh, he's our, the mentors and our interfaith leader. He always gives good suggestion and good advice. And our very hard worker interfaith leader or, our friends, Jibril also here. Thank you everybody. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, dear Imam Omar Shahabdin, Shahabdullah. And he is the founder and president of the Interfaith USA, Interfaith Center USA. and he's originally from Bangladesh, and now he's living in New York City with his family and active in the interfaith group and the community activities. Those who don't know about our group, well, your community is a wide range of people are part of it. We are not related to any religious group. We open to any cultures, male, female, children, whoever want to join with us, we are fine. And sometimes I do Hindu prayers because I grew up in that culture. Sometimes I act as an interfaith minister because I am the trustee of the All Faith Seminary International. Sometimes we do only the blowing the shell because we are part of the indigenous group. Sometimes you can see me in the mosque or synagogue or other places, even churches. That's the way we promote and their global community as a universal community. Here I want to invite Dr. Prabal Singh. He is living in America for over 50 years, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, please. Sorry.
Yes. Well, I've been fascinated by a video which I recently saw about interfaith from Bangladesh. A trip of Guru Nanak's travel to Bangladesh. And they showed in that Dhaka, and where there is on the university campus, there's a Gurdwara in the Dhaka campus. And where the university itself is built, that used to be one time a land which was awarded to that Gurdwara which is there by the local king in honor of Guru Nanak. And now that place is an interfaith center in the sense, the person who is in charge and running and doing the program is a Hindu gentleman, devotee of Guru Nanak. And there are a lot of Muslim people was also present there, who also were, from the Sufi background, other kinds of backgrounds, probably, who were taking part and partaking the langar, and that was a beautiful view of the interfaith experience I ever had regarding my experience with the Bangladeshi people. So that was very fascinating. It's a friend of mine who's in Singapore lives, who has been traveling all these places and then making videos about these places. So in other words, what I'm saying is, there is a lot more common among all of us. And even in the farmer situation, which is going on in India, I saw the leader of the Kisans, which is called farmers, Mr. Takait, who was related to former Prime Minister Charan Singh of India. And then he was receiving, he has worn a turban because the turban has been a little bit suspicious in some parts of India. And he was receiving a cup of water from a Muslim gentleman and drinking it. And this was quite an interesting phenomenon. People were clapping. So this is as a result of farmers' grievances and all, the oneness has born in the whole of India, that people, irrespective of what their faith, are coming together under the in gratitude, under one God and one humanity. So I thought that was very fascinating, because in the old days I used to read that even on the railway station there used to be two places for water. One was for the Muslim water, the other was Hindu water. They didn't drink from each other. Here there was a glaring episode which I saw that gentleman who's the leader receiving that water. And same way, the Muslim devotees, Muslim farmers were serving in the kitchen. We have Guru Nanak's kitchen being run all over that places around Delhi and every place, Haryana and all. They were workers who were irrespective of their religion. They were all cooperating, cooking and cleaning and everything together, shoulder to shoulder. I thought that was really a wonderful thing in practice, which I saw with my own eyes, like the kind of things we talk about in this interfaith group with you, Guruji, is actually taking place within India itself, which is a great relief for me to see that our differences are melting away and we are coming together as one people. Thank you.
Guruji, unmuted, please.
Remy, unmute yourself. Dr. Remy Aleppo is one of our interfaith leader. Last over 10 years, she's working with me very well. And from 43rd State, there's a UP of Women's Federation, Unification Church, like so many groups are. She was a student at the UTS Unification Theological Seminary. So I was teaching classes there. Every month we used to have a satsang group. That's where we start the interfaith in that building. So that is around closer to 20 years I'm in that building. Now we cannot do there because of the corona situation. Then we planned interfaith special meeting on Wednesdays. So we gather for lunchtime. We have some snacks, eat. Three of us, me, Remy, and Corny, Dr. Corny. Yeah. And we just sit, chat, and dialogue. That is our dialogue. Yeah. And slowly put different things and go to the UN groups, build up. And in between, different groups have these arguments, that there are competitions. You see all that dramas there. Anyway, now we developed very well. We were able to reach out to people around the world. That's the way it is going on now. So now when we put a live stream, yesterday, day before yesterday, over 2,000 people within 1 hour. That's what we did. And when we send out emails and social media blasts, it will go to millions. You don't have to go to their home and do things. So they see our post. So after a few times, they start thinking, what is this? Like if you see a cake in front of you, after so many hours, you want to touch it and taste it. So we don't have to push anybody. Those are actually spiritually deserve, they go and eat. So this is the way we give to people. So yesterday we had a beautiful event with the African community, and that was our 9th day event. It went very well. I left for another meeting. Then I was calling, do they finish? No, it's still going on. It end up in the evening, It's supposed to finish 1 o'clock, then we said, okay, 2 o'clock, then it's going up. So I was calling them, do they finish? No, it's still going on. So Remy, just mention what happened yesterday. So people like to know about it.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
And thank you, Guruji. I actually like your shirt today. The
Yes,
blue
sir.
matches the background. Yeah. So yesterday we had the World African Interfaith Program. And as Guruji said, it was supposed to be from 11 to 1. And we said, okay, give and take, if people talk longer or something, at least by 2 o'clock. And then we quickly realized that there was so much more that hasn't been recognized or hasn't been discussed in so many years. And, the purpose was to bring some African, religion or faith, together, whether they were on the continent of Africa or in the diaspora. So we invited, of course, the discussion did not include so many other practices or traditions because of the time limit that we were given, or the time that we had to organize the program. So some of the people that we had contacted, unfortunately, had other commitments. Otherwise, if we invited, every major, religion or practice or so, or denomination based on some Western religion from Africa, for the next 1 year, we'll still be talking. So the purpose of that discussion yesterday was to find out how the African traditional religion, or churches or movements that have adopted some sort of Western religion, especially the African Christianity, or other traditions that are now based in Africa. How are they able to continue in promoting dialogue, especially when it comes to African culture or African tradition? Because many people may not be aware that even though colonization happened in Africa, but most of what happened during colonization was to do away with the identity of the Black person, was to do with, to do away with the mind of the African, was to do away with the tradition, the customs, the way of life, and especially the thinking. So many of us may think that, oh, we thought that only happened with people who were captured into slavery and sold into slavery in the Americas, but colonization actually wiped away the mind of the African. So in recent times is when many people are actually trying to relieve, or make sure that they do not make their culture disappear. And unfortunately, we're losing so many of the youth because they've not been grounded in their tradition or custom. So many of them, if you even ask them what their names are, and like my name is Remy, but the longer name of of my name, is Oluwaremi Lekun, or the shorter form of that will be Oluremi. But many of Africans, if you give them names like that, they will actually be very upset because it doesn't fit with their mindset. They've been conditioned into ways where, they're not themselves anymore, and it's very unfortunate. So we were looking to bring in, religious leaders who were still practicing some sort of African traditions, or at least infusing some sort of African culture into their worship service. And the dialogue was not for people to actually do away with what they believe in, whether they were Christians or Muslims, as many people who were, present yesterday. They met many pastors of different denominations. They were Christian pastors, but they have different movements. So, for example, we had representatives from a church called Celestial Christian, Celestial Church of Christ. And we also had cherubim and seraphim, which they dress in white garments. And we had, representatives from other faiths. So it was to discuss how we can promote African culture in state building to reduce conflict or eliminate conflict or even biases amongst each other's religion. If you have a country like Nigeria, for example, and you have, Christianity, but what type of Christianity are people practicing? There are so many denominations. You know, you have the African sort of, or you have the New Age Pentecostal, or you have some of the more traditional churches like the Baptist or Catholic or something like that. So, and then there are other movements now that are now infusing, African tradition with, information or teachings of the Bible, and so information or teaching from Islam, from the Quran, and so on and so forth. So this conversation, was very timely, especially last year. I mean, 2019 was exactly 400 years after the first slaves arrived in the United States, and that was 400 years later. A little movement started in some African countries, but the most prominent was in Ghana, where they had had the year of return for people of African descent to return back to Africa. But return to Africa comes with a lot of baggage also. You know, it's a call for you, but at the same time, you know, if everyone gets up and just move back to Africa, what are in place for people to do when they get there? How are they going to relate to the people? You know, the mindset of many people who are here already is that, you know, they have these customs and traditions that they lost in 400 years and would like to go back to Africa to relive it. But upon getting there, many of them are going to find that, you know, the Africans there don't even know anything about what people are talking about, you see. So these were some of the dialogues and deliberations that we had yesterday, and how to build, you know, unity amongst you know, continental Africans, Africans in the diaspora, and people of African descent. So this was you know, a conversation that took longer, but it was very timely. I myself, to be honest with you, I even learned a lot yesterday in terms of some of the you know, faith traditions that were present. And overall, you know, the discussion was centered around unity, around, you know, working for humanity, working for mankind, you know, because we're all one family under God, how to resolve conflict. And instead of building biases, you know, how to come together instead of the various divisions. You know, I'm better than you, my religion is better than yours, my denomination has this and yours doesn't. So it was a forum to actually have people dialogue and present what their movement or faith traditions were about. And the conversation will continue. You know, it doesn't just end yesterday. 5 hours was very long, but it was very, you know, informative. You know, so I thank Guruji and members of World Yoga Community for actually having the vision to incorporate such a segment in this 9-day program, and I was very happy to.
14 days, 14 days.
Oh, nice, 14 days. You see,
It may go more than 1 month.
See, I said the conversation continues. It doesn't end yesterday. So Aluta continue, and thank you very much, everybody, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to, you know, discuss with you.
Thank you, Dr. Remy, to hear the story from yesterday's event. So for me, it's very emotional and more productive way to connect with the people, especially people from Africa and some countries in Asia. You see, the slavery made people in very poor condition for the education, their day-to-day life, and some hierarchies had a type of vision. A lot of time people have, oh, we want to step on somebody's head and I want to be a great. You see how I do things, right? I tell people, don't sit on a throne and rule the world.
Yeah.
Sit on the floor so you won't fall.
That's a good way.
I still sleep on floor, put a yoga mat, put a blanket. That's it. That's the only thing I use. No pillows, nothing. One meal a day, one chai in a day.
That's what we do in the Gurdwara, sit on the floor.
Correct.
I sleep on the floor most times too with my yoga mat.
Right.
You know, and my nieces and nephew, they always ask me, why don't you go sleep on the bed? I'm like, you know, I like it this way, you know.
So I want to invite one of our old friends. I met him 1 year back, Professor Dr. Iqbal Hussain from Bangladesh. I thought he's still in New York, so I asked Imam Muhammad, where is he? In New York or in Bangladesh? So he said, no, he's back to Bangladesh. So we want to know what is going on in Bangladesh, our religious group. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, Dr. Alipo. Thank you, Muhammad Imam Shahidullah. And I think that new friends, Kipal Singh and Gabriel Martins. Thank you, all of you, actually, I'm now in Bangladesh. But I was with several programs with Guruji at New York when I was, and Dr. Aleppo reviewed my one book, Interfaith in Islam and Muslim World. Do you know
Yes,
Dr. Aleppo?
yes, yes, of course.
uh, and also, especially thanks to Imam Shahidullah, because he is the key maker actually. How we'll connect each other. I think that he's the bottom line. He is the key maker. How we can throw him, and this is actually the way of connectivity. I think that if we want, and if we see the beauty of Lord, beauty of Almighty, how we'll connect each other. This is one of the beautiful way. The interfaith activities, there is the World Harmony Interfaith Harmony Week that's going on from 1st to 7th of February. Especially thanks to Muhammad Shahidullah and each and everyone's, then they gave me the opportunity to meet with you, the people. I think that the people of the world, the people, those who are actually win the all sort of ambiguities, the all sort of backwardness, and their mobbing and jumping, how they enhance the capacity of the human being through, of course, the way of religion. I think that all religions has some sort of strong philosophy, how they analyze the data of the human anatomy, human feelings, and human but all type of activities based on religion. Thanks again. Thanks to everyone. So, just I clarified that some sort of activities about interfaith activities in Bangladesh. As per you know, I am a teacher in university under the faculty of theology and Islamic studies. Really, I'm especially the teacher of theology and Islamic studies both. And I did my postdoctoral from England on theology. So, as per my observation in Bangladesh, after independence of Bangladesh ruled by there's a complex, but after 90, the Bangladesh as a academically interfaith education and interfaith, the expertise and interfaith activities, gradually increasing. Although Bangladesh is a multicultural country, we are living, it's a thousands years history of the harmony, and we are working together, we are living together, especially Hindus and Muslims, and there is a Buddhist, Christians, the tribes people, the Guru Nanak, and there is a center in the heart of the Dhaka University, the Guru Nanak Shahi. This is one of the big beauty. It's a 100 years ancient, the Guru Nanak Shahi, heart of the Dhaka University. And we have now in Dhaka University there is one academic, the subject named world religion. There is a interreligious center as well. And in my university, the one faculty on theology, and under this university, under this faculty, there are 3 subjects here, addressing in front of the students about the comparative religion and multiculturalism and everything. But in one sense, in Bangladesh, not like the Western tradition, we are trying, as per the maximum people we are here from Asian, South Asian. The one is from Africa. I don't know the Jabril Martins from which origin? Is it origin American or from some?
New Yorker, from New York.
Oh, origin, yes. So it's really it's one of the multicultural, the dialogue. So in Bangladesh, the people, either Muslims, either Hindus, either Christians, the people of the practicing. It's traditionally Guruji, Nanak, Nepal Singh. Each and everyone knows the people, in subcontinent, they are more practicing, more practicing. Although there is a question, is they are really practicing or it's the fabricated or not? There is something the question, but really they're the practicing. And multiculturalism, especially in the name of interfaith, the activities in the name of interfaith enhancing really is there is some sort of problems, either from both sides, either of course Guruji or brother Singh knows about that. All the within the problems nowadays is really it's a news of happiness that after increasing the social media and social connectivity and the huge access of YouTube, especially the Muslim clerics, the religious leaders, they even nowadays feel that we need to enhance the capacity of multiculturalism. This is one of the good things. I talked with the upper level religious leaders, Muslim religious leaders, and those who are connecting with the government and officials, even several the corners, they are the leading. Although the political leaders, religious political leaders, they nowadays felt that really we need to uphold the connectivity, Although we have a really force from text of our religion that humanity is the main thing. The religion came for enhance the capacity. Nowadays, it's a good sign in the country. We are working with NCCB. NCCB means National Charges Communities of Bangladesh, somehow NCCB, and Buddhist community and Christian community, and some other communities, tribe communities. We are worked together. It's the open programs. We have some sort of organization, connecting organization, especially from Chicago. It's called Omnia Leadership Program. They are working especially in the subcontinent. The name maybe the Pramanande, somehow from origin from Sri Lanka. And we are work together regularly under the umbrella of NCCB, under the umbrella of some other organization, Buddhist organization, Hindu organization, even the government. Presently, the government enhance on these activities, and the government has the project. And after came from New York, when I came to Bangladesh and joined my university, then I exist the platform. I plant. I think that this is one of the better time, the harvest time, to enhance the capacity of interfaith activities. Then I launched and enhanced the Interfaith USA in Bangladesh. Interfaith USA in Bangladesh now it's a well-known organization. Interfaith USA, led by Imam Omar Shahidullah, and we are working under this umbrella. And last February, we did their interfaith, the activities, how we'll connect even with the poor people, how provide them the shelter, provide them not only the the stimulus program, not only the enhancing program, not only the motivation program, but we are nowadays thinking how we'll provide them some type of stimulus program, how we'll enhance in this, especially in the poverty area, how we'll provide them educational assistance, how we'll provide them the education through the multiculturalism. Otherwise, we are in the country, we cannot enhance the capacity of our work, especially in terms of Islam. In this country, we are now advise the government organization, especially Islamic Foundation Bangladesh. It is one of the largest organizations, even South Asia, of course, even in the Asia. There's 80,000 people working, 80,000 people working in this organization. Through this organization, we are waving all over the country how we'll respect others, opinion of others, belief of others, opinion of the people within the disagreement. So I think that we are working and this program influenced me to work more and more. I believe that, and I hope that one day, maybe once a day, we'll meet together even with Guruji, with Aleppo, and with Muhammad Shahidullah and others, those who are there. And I ask your humble pray for me and humble pray for the all people, those who are working all over the world to enhance the capacity of harmony for interfaith, for the betterment of human life. Actually, human life is the main thing. Without human life, how will preaching our beliefs? This is one of the main things. So we are praying now in this week. We are praying, we want to waving this message to every individual. Life life for the religion, life for the belief, life for the human being, because the God loves us and God created everything. Why we are or why we are confront each another. So the back to our people and love each other. Thank you very much. Thank you, Guruji, and thank you each and everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Professor Iqbal Hussain. Wonderful to hear your experiences, ideas, opinions, how you felt from your heart. Is Gabriel here or? Okay, so we'll open the floor. Actually, what we need for the globe now. You see, we have different religions. Every single day, people come with the new philosophies, and we are not ending anywhere.
May not. It's continue.
All right. So diversity is good. Nothing wrong with it. But there is something truthful stuff. I always say, if it is H2O, means it's water. If any other particle go to H2O, that is a liquid, not a water. That's different, right? So, yeah.
Just a comment regarding Bangladesh. When Bangladesh was liberated, our Indian forces and the Bangladesh Mukti forces, they were working together, and Jagdish Singh Arora was the one who took the surrender from General Niazi. For Pakistani general of the forces and all. That was quite a interesting event in my recall regarding Bangladesh. And so many, almost like 90,000 people were arrested, and troops, and then brought to India and then peacefully sent back to Pakistan. So there's a big relationship between, the actual independence of Bangladesh and India as such.
Yes, of course. We are always respecting. We are always where we are visiting. Not only that, in all sort of the government programs, even the private programs, we are respectfully announce and remember the contribution of India's to our independence. Really, at that time, they have they lost a lot of soldiers for our independence. Even this is, of course, our respect, and the new generation knows everything. New generation knows even the present relation is really good.
Yes. So
Yes.
part of the interfaith success is, being aware of each other's history and historical cooperation between the different faiths and countries and all to help achieve the level of prosperity and growth which people are enjoying at this time. What happens is lots of time those things are forgotten by the newer generations. They don't have
Yes.
any idea how we arrived to this level of understanding. Um, like for example, among the Sikhs, with the Guru Nanak starting, the Guru Nanak's best friend was a Muslim fellow, Mardana,
Yeah. Yeah.
who Mardana went with him in all directions, including in Bangladesh, as well as to Mecca and Sri Lanka and Tibet and all those places. Mm.
So,
So,
Yes.
so that itself is a start of interfaith collaboration, which happened at the.
The historically, of course, we are connecting each others.
Uh-huh.
The independence from the British, the how it work, the all religious peoples, even the all religious leaders, their workings, even in our independence, even the all sort of disasters, the peoples, of course. I think that the problem is some sort of when we are use the religion in politics. This is one of the major things. Otherwise, I think the heart of the peoples. We are living there the history of thousand years. Thousand
Mm.
years nowadays. Why the intolerance increasing? This is one of the major things. If we go to the summary and conclusion, this is some sort of political intervention on our belief on religion, and the people want to take their benefits by their emotion to take over the emotional image. This is one of the problems. Otherwise, religious conflict. This is not a history of long ago. It's the created within the last couple of decades. Nothing.
Yes, my point is that, in the long run, it's not the vengeance which pays. It is really the common grounds among people, common grounds in the religion, common grounds in the history, common grounds in the culture, which bring us together and open the doors for the interfaith understanding, collaboration, and success. So it's very important that we not forget in our practices as far as the developmental aspect, beginning how things started and came along and all. Uh, we can maintain that continuity. Then that helps to provide insight to deal with our current situations.
Yes.
if I ask you a question, those who live in America, their children may marry foreigner from another country or another religion. If your child is going to marry from another culture or a religion, how do you handle that situation?
You asking me?
No, to open to everybody.
Well, my answer to that, my own wife is a Presbyterian. She is American, she's Presbyterian. You may have seen the picture. And we have many common grounds. And she comes to the Gurdwara with me. And I go to the church with her. And I've spoken to their events many times within the community, at college levels, as well as at the universities and different other places. So, the base is, there are differences between us too. Like, for example, we don't subscribe to the idea of a Trinity. Ours is only oneness of God. We believe in the idea of a messenger of God rather than, son of a God and all. But those are the differences. That's what keeps us. Those are uniqueness of different religions. But at the same time, the majority of common grounds like compassion and serving the poor and like feeding the hungry people and clothing the poor. And because in the long run, no matter what religion you have, it's your actions speak louder than the words. That's where I draw my inspiration to handle these common grounds. One of my nieces is married to a Jewish fellow, and they get along very well with each other. I have a cousin who's married a Ukrainian, and they have 2 daughters, and they get along well with each other like that. Nephew of mine is married a Romanian girl. So we have a lot of intermarriages among us. But they all thrive on the common grounds, not on the differences.
This is the reality, actually, what the Kapral Singh explained, like on his family and like, no, this is the real situation in our community. But unfortunately, this is the interfaith marriage. This is very controversial. The academically on our the Muslim community, on Jewish community as well, Christian community in Bangladesh, or our South Asia in Hindu community as well, whatever in my knowledge. And I read like the few article from the few research institute, they published like one article about the interfaith marriage, and I was present one a short presentation about the interfaith marriage, and that time I found a lot of controversy, especially like the academic arena.
Yes, there's no doubt about that. There is a controversy, and there are many things which you have to come to an understanding. I have right in my community over here, there's a Sikh neurologist who's married to a Bangladesh, a lady doctor, and they have 2 beautiful children over here. So like that, the question is, but once it happens, how do you deal with the situation? Because we can talk about prevention.
It should happen, especially in New York. Anytime it can happen.
Yeah.
And you
but
cannot
when it does happen, yes, when it does happen, which does, like I mentioned in my own family and all that, you can't close the doors. You have to keep the doors open and come and bring each other together, and then let the children grow knowing what is all about and around, and they develop more interfaith understanding.
I think there is some observation.
Yes.
It's my observation in terms of religion, in terms of situation, and in terms of course, just said Imam Shaidullah, academic discussions. Said the Guruji Singh saying what about this is, I think that it's the demand of the situation. I think that about Newark or some sort of European countries. But although if these people even back to their own countries, then it is maybe there is some conflict how they will deal with the society. I think it's depend on the situation, depend even on the country situation or social situation, society.
Yes.
About society.
Although different, my question is towards each one of you. How do you handle?
I think in terms of Islam, although that is said clearly, Imam Shaidullah and Brother Singh, in New York, even in America, even some sort of nowadays, even our South Asian countries, I think that interfaith marriage is randomly going on. But academically, true. Even in the revealed knowledge, revealed religion, even some Hindu religions, even I think that Sikh religion, even the Buddhist religion, they have no any text about marriage. But nowadays, even Buddhist people, they controlled their believers, that they enhance their followers who don't marriage except the Buddhist people. Even they control their believers.
Yeah, that,
I think that this is so. Let me finish.
okay.
So in terms of Islam and my belief, of course, as a Muslim, I believe that in context, there's a strong context in Islam. The marriage with the people of Ahl Kitab, that is in the Quran comes, and there is several hadiths, the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad. That we have interfaith marriage. But there is limitations with the Jewish people, with the Christian peoples. There is the strong limitations. Just only three, the revealed knowledge, that is the revealed religions, and there is a huge, the riches. Some people, even in, the Tunisia, some ulama said, this is a controversial. They say interfaith marriage is legal. Interfaith marriage is legal. In Tunisian Muslim scholars say,
Mhm.
in some sort of, the Indonesian scholars even said they have some, the point on that. They said the interfaith marriage is legal even in Islam. They have even some, the documents. They show the documents. All the major doctrines only the limited the interfaith marriage within the major three religions. But the some scholars, although they are the few, they say they have some document shows that interfaith religions is legal. But nowadays, the most of the religious peoples, they say that only three religions in terms of Islam, that they say the interfaith religions we have, but within the three religions.
So that
This
is
is
good to know. I want to give chance to Remy because she is from Africa and is only one female in our group. She should go on.
So I was just waiting for you to finish speaking so that I could also chime in. Part of the dialogue that we had yesterday, and the reason why it actually took that long was there's so much, you know, discussion to be held or to have been held already that many people usually are afraid to talk about. So we let it be an open forum where all the representatives were free enough to actually just, discuss about their traditions or faith background. But many of us, in many parts of Africa are already living interfaith, because there's so many religious practices that are present. And even before the artificial borders of, carving out of Africa, to different countries that are present today, we've always had neighbors or other communities bordering ours. Not bother like, troublesome, but like nearby, in terms of, different practices or traditions and so on and so forth. Of course, it's not that we don't have some sort of religious clashes, or maybe even communal clashes or ethnic rivalries or something like that. But for centuries, we've lived um, alongside other practitioners of so many different types of faith or tradition or something like that, because in the African traditional system is rooted on the family or the community. So you're going to find that different households have um, different belief system. So there's some communities where, they may be near the ocean or the river, and they will pray to the river goddess, or some, will be praying to the sun for or any type of maybe need that they may have or something. But it doesn't mean they're worshiping the sun. It doesn't mean they're worshiping the river, because if there's no water, there's no way you're going to be able to harvest your crops. You cannot water your plants. You cannot feed your family because there will be drought. If there's no sun, the crops are not going to grow. You won't be able to use the sunlight for seeing, for drying a lot of your food. So when we have when I say we've had interfaith and knew how to live alongside each other for a long time, and even respecting each other, in terms of our traditional beliefs or belief system or practices, the major problem started with colonization. And unfortunately, many people in many parts of Africa, to leave the colonial mentality, it's a big problem, because after independence, many of these countries, the people there, they're, trying to find themselves, trying to be up to par with their former colonial masters, trying to maybe make their countries like Western countries. And in turn, you have to leave your traditional belief. And once you leave your who you are, you're pretty much like a nobody. You'll be consumed with the belief of other faith or practices. That's why there's so much conflict, so much conflict nationally, so much conflict with the individual, so much conflict even with the neighbor. And even when we preach, for those who are Christians, when we preach the gospel of love, our gospel according to Jesus is based on loving your enemy or loving your neighbor as yourself. There's always an internal conflict also, because sometimes you will look at the person and you will automatically already have judged them and say, oh, you're from the north, so you're not even as educated as I am. Oh, you're from the south, your way of life is not comparable to mine. Because who told you that? Those who divided up the country in terms of um, having different type of ruling when they colonized the country. So already a system was set before independence, and by the time independence came, it was so difficult for many people to now even unite. Many times you will hear, oh, African unity, but deep down it's very difficult for people to actually practice what they're preaching. Only from time to time, when we show up at the places of worship, we're one family under God. But once everyone leave, the conflict internally or biases or prejudice, they all start. And I think nowadays, when many African youth, they're beginning to try to reconnect with their ancestry or their past, they're now beginning to understand that the majority of the conflict starts with what was imposed. But if you have no imposition on your life, you're able to think freely, you're able to take what is in your immediate environment and apply it to the self. So that first of all, this internal bias, this internal conflict that you're wrestling with, whether you're better than your neighbor or someone that is in the next community, it stops with the understanding of the self, you see. So I'm always an advocate for culture, I'm always an advocate for traditional practices. Of course, we have to take the elements of what are good out of those practices. And it's just like saying we're still using the same type of injection needles when we go to the hospitals. Many of you remember that many years ago, when you go to the hospitals, the needles used to be so long, as if you wanted to inject a cow or horse or something. But now they have, the technology, or has advanced, or many countries have advanced, where they don't use longer needles. And there are many things that we can actually change by understanding the self first, and then improving it with our current day situation. What is working in other places or in your immediate environment that you can apply your culture and tradition to, and take the best of that, so that you don't have a loss of identity, which means a loss of self, you see. So we've been interfaith in Africa for such a long time before the disruption or the interruptions in the way of life of African communities. But if we have to look back, many people will have only the bad, because that's what they've been taught. And the energy to actually learn about yourself is so time consuming, because so many people are hungry. So what would you do first? Learning history or have food on the table? first thing you have to feed yourself, you see. So there's a lot of conflict, and that people have to do away with, first of all, in many societies, before they can start preaching love your neighbor or even love yourself. If you love yourself first, you will want to love other people as you would like them to love you. So that's my 2 cents contribution to the dialogue.
That's wonderful to hear, Remy. Because a lot of time I think, thank God I am in this body, so I can experience different things. Right? I know by birth I am not a religious person at all. No one is a religious person. All are spiritual beings. That's the way it is. And we come to a family and they have the certain beliefs or a culture, and we learn things from it. We may have a taste from our past life. I am interested in this, because of the memories from the past life. And we create a dogmatic way to control the community. Certain times is needed to support the community. Certain times to go over the limit. So we need a balance. Any religion, not only one religion, any religion. So that's a part interfaith people are supposed to work on it. We are not here to promote a religious group. We are here to promote how to make a situation harmonious way for everybody. Some people are not religious people at all, but they have right to live too. Gays, lesbians, or poor, or those who have health problems. They all have rights. So that's the part we are looking for. A lot of time, religion became like a political movement, and people want to convert everybody, or make, oh, your religion is low, my religion is high. Look at any animals. They never born in a religious way. They have a natural ability to develop themselves. You see how you watch a monkey or a dog or a cat or a fish. They all have a natural way to grow. Only human being disrupt their way of life. When animals are hungry, they may attack another animal and eat, and they come down. But human being, even if my stomach is full, I want to eat 10 times.
More, yeah.
I sat on a throne for 4 years as a president. I have only one more turn and people don't like me. I don't want to leave. I don't want to say anybody's name. This is the way the human mind is. How we can make a change in this world. We are going to continue this dialogue on next Sunday, 1 o'clock. We have open mic.
You mean this Sunday?
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yeah. Because the first session, 10 to 1, is our festival. And we'll make an open mic there continuously, So this is a major problem I saw. When people have a relationship with another partner from another culture or a religion, and the relatives come like a gang up to hurt them, That's always we see that. Even some countries, they chop the head or leg, hands. That's the way they do it. So I had to stop the meeting because 1:30 I have another meeting. And we'll continue this dialogue because this is a major issue around the world.
Yes, yeah, it is. By the way, my experience as a psychiatrist has been, we see when the things have taken place rather than before. It's not the premarital counseling part with us, that's with the ministers and other community leaders. But we see when they are married and now they are having issues or children and other kinds of things, and how to help them out to live a good life. Because most of the religions I know, they prohibit, they say, including Sikhism, they say marry within yourself. But they have a vested interest in that. But the question is when that has happened, what to do then? That'll be interesting topic to discuss.
So another thing is the interfaith movement is far ahead. Nobody can stop it. If government say this marriage is valid, done. Religion cannot stop it.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I agree with what Iqbal said about beauty and connectivity, the importance, and definitely what you said was the main thing. My feeling is the necessity that we should embrace creativity. That we focus a lot on science, which is necessary because of COVID, not just because of COVID, but because development of technology and ecological protection preservation. And we focus on doctrines and theological studies, historical data, which are important in informing us, giving us structure, direction, meaning. Theology, history, doctrines can help link us to the past, science and technology to the future. Developing our creativity is what activates the connection to the past and unites the past. It activates our connection to the present, and which unites the past and future in meaningful way and harmonious way. And there are many lawmakers, many who create plans for the future without deep, palpable connections to what's actually going on in the present moment. Like lawmakers drilling and spilling oil, scientists engineering machines to take us to other planets while we're in war in our own planet, media reporting on more controversial issues instead of solutions, historians suppressing important information with hidden agendas. Basically, what we need is creativity in our daily lives. We pray, but then we forget to sing. We sing, but then we focus on the sound of our voice in a critical way. We criticize, but not constructively. This is different from positivity because we need both negative and positive, but in a balance, in proper perspective. That's what creates understanding. That's why great art embraces both negative and the positive. My understanding is that great art has the potential to inspire us to discover and activate creativity within ourselves. Innovation, utilizing inclusivity, becomes a bridge which lifts us all without leaving any out of the loop. External influence is a necessary component for growth, yet it is our inner influence, which is inspiration, where the greatest ideas flow from. Artistic creativity facilitates our ability to tap into this vein and expand it to unify not only the human race, but all beings. Thank you.
Wow, that
Oh,
was
Very
very
great.
good.
Very
Good job,
good.
So
Gabriel.
over
Good job.
1,400 people are watching us.
Yes.
With one line of message, what do you have for people? Each one of you, Dr. Kribasing, one line for a great message for global community.
My message is don't act in a haste. Wait, evaluate the situation, and do the very best under the circumstances. Don't close the doors, keep them open. We all grow gradually and evolve. Thank you.
Imam Omar, unmute yourself. What is your message?
Thank you, everybody. We're almost ending. And I want to say special thanks to Professor Dr. Iqbal. I think is midnight in Bangladesh.
My point is you had to say a message for the people. Over 1,400 people are watching this event. What is your interfaith message for people? One line.
Oh, the one line, like always you say, the peace beginning from me and from family, from my neighbor, from my society, from my country, like the bottom line from my heart. Thank you, everybody.
Professor Dr. Iqbal was saying, what is your message?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Guruji. Actually, the same thing, like Brother Singh, that don't close the door. Of course, begin from the first steps. Then we goes to 1,000 steps. Thank you.
Right. Dr. Remy?
My message for everybody watching is that peace begins with the individual, in the individual's hearts. So peace begins with me.
Good. Gabriel, unmute yourself.
Same as Remy. Perfectly said.
Right.
Perfect.
So for creating harmony between cultures and beings or religious people, we had to create a bridge. That bridge should able to walk both ways, not only one way. We don't want one-way traffic. We want double-way traffic. It's always good to have double-way traffic. Thank you everyone for joining this our weekly interfaith dialogue. We'll continue
Thank
like
you.
and evening 7 o'clock we have all faith seminary event. Please join. I already put it on Facebook and I will update the flyer with the details. And see you in the evening or another time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.